Is your lender going to cost you $100,000? Well, that is what I'm talking about today. And I am going to tell you about a doozy that I've never experienced before until this past month. So stay tuned. Hi, this is Melissa Ballman, and I'm a real estate agent here in the greater Salt Lake City area. So what that means, if you're looking at making a real estate move, I'd love to connect with you. Shoot me a text, send me an email, do what you got to do, but get in touch with me. But first, today, I am going to talk about one of the most costly mistakes there is when it comes time to buying a home, because I just had this situation happen and it almost cost my buyers $100,000. Okay, so I have these amazing clients that I just recently closed on a home with that saw me here on YouTube and reached out to me. And we looked for homes for a couple of months. They followed my advice. They shopped different lenders. And let's just say, for argument's sake, we have lender A, who is a trusted local lender, used multiple times, and they're their own mortgage broker, so they shop the loans out. We have lender B, who is maybe like a local credit union. And then we have lender C, who is Big Bank America. And I can't say the names of banks and things like that. So we're just going to use lender A, B, and C for this video. So my clients reached out to lender A, to lender C's, and they ultimately decided to go with Big Bank America because of the size of the loan and just better rates than a super jumbo loan could do with my local person and things like that. Lender C also offered, one of lender C's that we used offered some incentives like no loan origination, which saved them a ton of money, things like that, because of their banking relationship with them. So we write a contract. I reach out to the loan officer and say, hey, this is what we're thinking. Yep, no problem. Those dates will be fine. Financing and appraisal date, settlement, we might even be able to close it a little bit early. Great, awesome, let's keep going. So we get our offer accepted and we're getting through the process, and we are almost to our financing and appraisal deadline. So I reach out to the lender and I said, hey, we're almost at the financing and appraisal deadline. We have $100,000 earnest money. I want to make sure we are all good. Because the appraisal had actually come back about a week and a half, 10 days prior to this email. And the lender says, yep, we're all good to go. No problems with the deadline. Great. So we just let the deadline go, and we get 72 business hours before we're supposed to close. And the lender comes back and says, well, now we're going to question the appraisal. And we were like, wait, what? Like, this was on a Wednesday. We are supposed to be closing no later than Monday. And they said, yeah, we're going to have to order another appraisal. And we're not going to have it back in time for you to close as you are contractually supposed to. Well, because we let the financing and appraisal deadline go past because the loan officer said we were fine, my clients are standing to lose their earnest money now if they don't close on Monday, which we now know is not going to happen. So that's when I reach back out to my lender A, and I say, man, what can you do? So lender A refers me to another lender A. Local person, does jumbo loans really fast. So we start the process with this new lender at this point. We have to ask the sellers for an extension on settlement. And the seller said, well, that's fine, but we want another $96,000 to do that. So my clients are in the position of they've already sold one house, waiting to list their other house, move across the state. They had movers already online. I mean, it was like this whole chain reaction for this to happen. Long story short, we end up negotiating and saying, how about half? So the sellers agree to extend our deadline, but it's gonna basically cost my clients almost $50,000 now to do that because we couldn't close on time. And it's an unfortunate situation in this crazy market where the sellers have the upper hand because they had already have a backup offer in hand and the buyers were still wanting to purchase this home at this point. So my clients were like, well, we have to spend $50,000 to save $100,000. So we get new lender A on this about after lender C had this contract for about 32 days to kind of give you an idea. Now those 32 days include weekends and Thanksgiving holiday. So new lender A gets on it, and up until the very end of the closing line. Now, let me tell you, my clients not only had to pay $50,000 more, but they also had to pay for 4 appraisals because each lender was now requiring 2 appraisals. So huge chain reaction. And lender A actually got the clear to close the same day lender C did. And lender C had the contract for about 32 days before lender A was brought on. So I'm telling you this story today because I think it's extremely important for buyers to understand and really honor the process that your real estate professional is telling you what to do. In 15 years, I have never had this situation, but in all fairness, I have never worked with lender C until this transaction. And I will tell you in all honesty, I have now told real estate friends who live out of state about this transaction, what happened with lender C. I mean, there's a whole story that you wouldn't even believe on this one. And I have said I will never let a buyer use this lender ever again. I will tell them the specifics one-on-one. And if I'm representing a seller, I would never take an offer or with a pre-approval from this lender because it was such a horrific process for me and for my client, and they stood to lose so much on it. So throughout the real estate process, there is always these very stressful situations that can arise, that can cost you money, that can be the difference between closing on your dream home or not. And not just the financial side of things. So make sure that you have a really great relationship with your real estate agent and that you guys work together and trust each other throughout this process. We're in this business every single day. We know good, bad, and ugly and things that can go wrong. And so when you have a great working relationship with the team that surrounds you, it will help prevent situations like this. And in all fairness to my clients, I don't blame them. They got sold really well. And my clients will say that. They got lack of better terms that they use, they got the old car salesman pitch really, really well with this lender, promised the moon, and was nowhere close to that. Poor communication, just everything. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but just trust your agent. If you have questions about the real estate market, lender suggestions, please reach out to me. I'm always here to help, but as always, make it a great day.